Who's first? Ladies. Who's first? Ladies. Who's first? Ladies. What time is it? It's time for the ladies. It's the Ladies First Chit-Chat Crew. It's time for the ladies. It's the Ladies First Chit-Chat Crew. L-A-D-I-S, L-A-D-I-S, and we're up first. L-A-D-I-S, L-A-D-I-S, and we're up first. Speak what you want. Be great. Speak what you want. Be great. Speak what you want. Be great. And we're up first. Bonjour, unboxed. Bonjour, unboxed. Bonjour, unboxed. And we're up first. Yes, ladies. That's dope. Yes, ladies. That's dope. Yes, ladies. That's dope. And we're up first. It's time for the ladies. It's the Ladies First. It's the Ladies First. It's time for the It's the Ladies First Chit-Chat Crew. One time for the ladies in the house. Two time make the people screenshot. Lachelle, Chondra, Crystal with Nikki on board and L-A-D-I-S, and we're up first. L-A-D-I-S, L-A-D-I-S, and we're up first.
What's up, y'all? How you doing? It's the Lady First Chit-Chat Crew.
Yes,
where
it
we
is.
are the voice of the everyday woman. Hi,
Good morning.
y'all. Good morning. I'm loving these shades of green. What's up, Carrie? How y'all doing this morning?
I just realized I don't have my earrings on. Hold on.
Oh, honey, it's never too late for your earrings.
I'm a girl with extensions in the hair.
Bamboo earrings. At least
Could they be bigger?
No,
yes,
I love
that's
them.
exactly
No
what
such a thing.
No such a thing. No such a thing. You and Tracy Ellis Ross make me want to up my earring game. You know,
Listen, you ain't done until your earrings are on.
because you know I always give you a sensible hoop or
not a sensible one.
sensible hoop or a short earring. How y'all doing this morning in your green?
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. I taught my class this morning, and my ladies were on. I was a little tough on them today, this week. I was a little tough on them. I gotta tell you this story real quick. I know she's watching. I don't even know if she's on yet. So Miss Pat, aka my mom, takes my class. And literally, I think the other day she looked at me in the screen like she was gonna quit. She looked at me like the hands on her hip, like really.
Like, you about to catch a little
Like,
down.
look, girl.
Yeah, that's how she looked at me. It was like I was 5. Like, what are you doing? Look at her.
Like Jennifer Lewis. Look, girl.
Little girl. I know last week was a really big week for our sisters. Lachelle Wooten had her workshop that we've been getting such rave reviews about. You have motivated so many people, including us. How you feeling? Tell us a little bit about it. How'd it go?
It was fabulous. It was fabulous. I'm so glad that y'all told me to up the count so that everybody could get in, because it like doubled in registration after the show, but it was phenomenal. And I myself have been getting a lot of feedback from people who literally hopped on it to have their board going by Tuesday, because Tuesday was the actual energetic new year. And people are already feeling the vibe. They're feeling change. They're feeling motivated. And that just warms my heart because that's why I do what I do. If you know something good, honey, if you got a good word, you need to share it. So that was fun. And I'm looking forward to seeing the results that come from the people who joined me. It was great.
Yes, healer, helper, human. I love that. Yes, yes, yes.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
And our other sister had a big week. And I just want to throw this out how what I love about this show. Oh, I'm about to cry. Ugh, it's early. What I love about this show is that we support one another and we challenge is not the word I'm looking for. We throw out, we listen to each other. We practice what we preach. And Lachelle threw something out to Shani because Shani was saying that she wanted to do a concert. And so Lachelle threw it out to her. And when I tell you, this woman really practiced what she preached. And y'all, if you missed it, it was beautiful. It was stunning. I do have to put up really quickly. You can go get the Chandra's replay, Freedom Concert replay. You never know if you stay on long enough. I might put a little something on for the people. But it was beautiful. It was amazing. She's got her own production company now called Cali Girl Productions. Shani, how you feeling, baby?
Well, praise the Lord, somebody. Praise, lift those dirty hands and tell God, thank you. Mickey and Minnie and Callie D are turned up in here, but we're good. I feel so good. I feel so full. I'm like Lachelle. Like it's crazy when you are talking about two totally different things, but the same thing, because it's like when you're just doing things that are passion driven and things that touch yourself and in turn touch someone else, like this is what we call soul work, right? Mm-hmm. And so full is like an understatement. I am so full. I said I sent out an email to everyone who came, and I was just like, yeah, my love language is quality time. So anytime you text me, call me, send me a note, make something for me by your hand and bring it to me or anything of that nature, I'm just like, oh God, thank you. And so to see the amount of people that like stopped their evening and came and engaged and then afterwards text and called and wanted to talk about it and sent emails, and I'm just like, my tank is overflow.
That is amazing. That is amazing, sister. You were, and I think Nikki on Boston sent the first text, and Crystal, and I'm like, I'm crying. I'm like,
I went back and saw him, like, she sent a text like 5 minutes into the show.
And I'm like, I'm over here crying. It's like, it was just very amazing. And
we were all crying, by the way.
Yeah, like, all crying. And I went back and I rewatched the show, and I was thinking about some of the songs that you were singing. I feel like really goes. I might play some later. Really goes with what our show topic is today. I mean, all of us were very affected by what happened a couple weeks ago with Regina King's son, Ian. Was it Ian Alexander? Is that his name?
Yeah.
26 years old, taking his own life. And we were also really rocked by Chesley Chris. This really rocked me and affected me in a way, because I know people that know her. And by looking at these two young, vibrant brother and sister, and you're just like, you feel like you know them, and you are saying, what happened? Like I found myself with Chesley Chris going, I wish I could have touched her. I wish she was watching our show. I wish we knew her. And it sparked us with the topic of our show today. Are we hiding in plain sight? Don't look at the date. Are we hiding in plain sight? You know, are we hiding in plain sight? And that sparked with us because, you know, of course, if you would see Ian on the red carpet with his mom, Regina King, and the love that she had for him, and if you follow him on Instagram, you would think everything was going right. Of course, this young lady, Chesley Chris, Miss USA, she was Miss U. Those of you guys don't know. I think most of you guys know she was crowned Miss USA at the time where it was the first time that across the board it was all Black women. Miss Teen, Miss Universe, Miss America were all Black women. And she was such a big advocate of mental health and a correspondent for Extra. And you would have never guessed that whatever was going on, she was hiding in plain sight. And that's what the question is today. Are we hiding in plain sight? And we started diving into some questions and some topics that we were talking about. And one of the things that Shelly brought up that really has stuck with me, her and Nikki both were talking about a journey of discovery, but they talked about looking at ourselves through our own eyes, looking at our lives as a movie. Let's tap into that, y'all. Let's get into it.
Come on, Nikki.
Well, I'll jump in. And hey, everyone. Sorry I had technical difficulties this morning. But, maybe just to, put it in context. I mean, as you all know, we have these conversations every Thursday morning. And one of the things that we were talking about was just challenging ourselves and stating that the way we should be approaching life is realizing that we are starring in our own movies, right? And with that, we should, look at things through our own eyes, right? Because no one else is going to have the same journey, the same experiences. We're all on this unique path. And it was meant for us to have these experiences. And what's really unique about starring in your own movie and looking at it throughout your own eyes, you can, once you tell part one of your story, there's always a part two. There can be a part three. And no matter how interesting your story may be in terms of difficulties that you may have had, you're challenged, right? With the opportunity of making different turns, different paths, creating different paths for yourself as you move forward. And so if that helps any, that's what we were talking about, right? Trying to reframe the experiences that we're having in our lives as an opportunity to remind ourselves that we have the opportunity to open the door for something next, right?
So one thing that stuck from this conversation that Nikki did bring up sometimes I wish y'all could be with us on Thursday morning. But I was talking about how the top selling films in the world are always dramas and trauma and high action. Always. They always outsell, the world coming to an end always outsells the rom-com. And it outsells because we go and we see it. And no matter what twists and turns are going to come in that film, no matter what's going to blow up, no matter what shocking experience happens, we sit there and we're with our popcorn and our stomach gets in knots. Maybe we'll cry. Maybe we'll feel anxious, find ourselves holding our breath. You've all done this in the movies. But for some reason, when that same kind of life, unexpected life happens to us, we want to turn away. But we can't if we want to keep going, There's always an ending to a film that makes you say, whew, that took me through it, but you feel satisfied and glad that you took the ride. So we have to view ourselves as if we're going to see our box office smash Star Wars or Will Smith's movie or whatever it is. What's that daggone movie? My sister loved watching those daggone horrors. I can't stand them. But the Final Destination.
Destination.
It's like, you know, from the title, but
Yeah.
you know. And so my thing is like, I really want people to feel that their life is a film that is always unfolding scene by scene. Some scenes are amazing and some scenes are very challenging. But the challenging scenes is always where the person in the film, the team, the crew, they're seeking their next step. They're seeking their support. Like, how are we gonna, the rope broke? Let's see if we can find a boat by the lake. Like, it's always something else to be done and someone else with an idea and another turn in the road that will be better than the last turn.
That's
And
right.
I want young girls especially to take this in because I continuously become devastated when I watch people take their lives, especially young people. And Chesley, the thing that devastated me most about her was we condition our girls to look up to women who hold these kinds of titles. And it's so, there was so much to watch with her and Miss Universe and Miss Teen and Miss America. There's so much to see. They're attorneys, they're humanitarians. It's just beautiful. And then when these young girls who are watching so intently see that someone they are looking for ideas about what their life can be does something like that because something went awry for her, it always hits me like, how are they taking this in? And are they seeing this as an option for them? And my point is, your only option is to see what the next scene is. That is the way that I think we all make it through to the end of our intended journey, is always be curious about what's next in your life, no matter what state or condition you're in right now.
I'd like to just throw out, and probably maybe this is where we should have started, right? We're living in a world that's really, I think I called it a silent spoken world, right? So the way we present ourselves these days is very much through pictures, right? Through things that we can make ourselves look our best, right? We've created a place in which it's hard for someone to feel like it's okay to show up just raw, right? You can't be undone. Like, your makeup can't be on. You can't take your picture on the, on your perfect side, right? And that's created a place where it's not okay for us to be so revealing and so transparent about how we're feeling, or just being okay in who we are, because we can show up that way. It's like you can do it in your home, but don't anybody take a picture of you and post it. And I've been guilty of this. So, oh, can you please? It's not very flattering, right? Why? Yes, it bothers me, but also I don't want other people to see me that way, right? Mm-hmm. And the challenge for us all, which is what led us to this idea of picturing yourself starring in your own movie, was to give yourself the opportunity to have the ability to have the space to be imperfect, and let it be acceptable.
And I think I love that, Nick. And I think it totally goes with having a space and let it be acceptable. You know, when Shelly just said your only options to see what the next scene is. Why are we so excited to watch that other movie? And see when they break the rope and what the next scene is. Why are we afraid to see our own movie? What is that about? Is it what Nikki just said? Feeling like, you're going to be judged. It's we got to keep that space open, but we have to want to see our own movie, and we're so eager to see everybody else's movie. But why are we afraid to see our own movie? What is that about?
I think there's a couple of things I want to mention, not all of them, I promise. I was thinking about, I worked on the Paramount Picture side for many years, and I remember we did this exercise where they mentioned that there's only 7, I believe there's 7 stories that can be told, right? I don't have them all in front of me because it just came to me, but like one is rags to riches, one is thriller, one is horror, right? But they're all, if you think about any story that is, anything from, pursuit of happiness, rags to riches, it's very common, right? And then there is a, beginning, middle, and end. There's something about what it's a very common scenario to watch, but to live, it is very different, right? So I think that it is very easy to kind of escape through, well, that's their life and it's not mine, because over here, this is not, easy, or it's not, I can't see the end. That's only, the end only comes for people like that, not for people like me. I think it kind of gets a little twisted like that. So I'm glad we're having this conversation. But I wanted to mention, and we know that by the time something as tragic as this happens, that you think about, like, I wonder if there was some kind of biochemical imbalance, hormonal imbalances, societal messages. And then we talked about pictures, right? And the pictures are really important, because I sent the ladies a picture this week that I saw from Dion Cole's post, and it was a woman lying on her side, and she had it was just like her torso, but she had a baby, and her body looked like, her stomach looked like it was, somewhat deflated, and the skin was soft, and his post said something like, the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. This woman's body brought life into the world. This woman's body looks the way many bodies look after they've carried life for 9 months and now they have a baby. But we're not taught that that's beauty. We're taught, no offense, get fit with that. Not what I was saying. We're taught it has to be, rock hard abs, and and it's like, okay, some people's abs look like that, but if you have had, and my girlfriend and I talk about this all the time, if you've been able to bring life into this world, and maybe after that, maybe you gain 30 pounds, maybe you're not 20 anymore, and now you in your 50s. And this body that you still want to be healthy and strong, you want your pressure to be good, you want all these things to happen, that's not celebrated. Youth is celebrated, perfection is celebrated, pictures of people that may or may not look like you. Some people look like they looked at 20 or in high school, but why are we comparing ourselves to pictures of us in high school? So I say all this to say, there's stories that we're fed, there's pictures that we see, there's maybe some things that biochemically are not necessarily as they should be, and then there's all of this stuff about, and then people aren't allowed to get older with grace. We're criticized for that. And so it makes me sad to say, like, I feel like there's probably in there somewhere where people don't know how to get out of, they don't know how to, well, they can't see the ending is what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. They can't see the next chapter. They don't see the life as a book to, like, this chapter was really freaking hard. Mm-hmm. Or nobody's saying this girl, When you 29 about to be 30, you gonna feel like you gonna lose it because you gonna think, oh, my life is over. Girl, your life ain't over, because 40 though is dope. 50's even better. Girl, you gonna know so much more when you're 50. You're gonna be like, I wouldn't want to be, you couldn't pay me nothing to be 30 again. I wouldn't mind my waistline, but I'm just you get what I'm saying? Like, I feel like there's
I want to tap on celebration. Because that was another topic that we talked about, right? When we celebrate or when we support, right? When we show up for people, right? So we celebrate, support, show up for people when they already there. When they looking perfect, right? When it's all packaged up right.
Yes.
We should be celebrating and supporting people as they're going through the journey.
Say that.
Going through the journey. The part and that's why we, right, individuals are uncomfortable to just not show up as our imperfect selves. Right? If we noticed what we're doing and realize you got a friend that's trying to do something, she hasn't gotten there, maybe you need to support her along the way.
Maybe you need to support her along the way.
You got a friend and you notice, she's not quite looking like she always has, right? Rather than critique and criticize, even if you're not her friend, why aren't we asking, are you good?
Do you need something?
And just show up for them.
That's right.
You know what I don't let my girlfriends do? I don't let my girlfriends talk bad about themselves.
Yep.
You ain't doing that over here. You need to call somebody else.
And that's the point.
Because you ain't gonna, I'm just be like, girl, I gained weight. Girl.
I'm good for that. Okay, I'll put my hand up.
But don't come over here with that, because I'll be like, your boobs are great.
No, I'm good for that. I'm good for that. And so you're right. Those little things, Crystal, how do we do more of that? How do we catch ourselves, right?
Yep.
Be more supportive and there for people as they're trying to evolve, right?
Can I say something? When I was living in the Bronx and I was doing my morning walks, as y'all know I do, I was doing my morning walks and there was this woman coming. I was on a block, right? And there's a woman coming my way and I was going her way, walking with my headphones on. And she looked really cute. Her whole little outfit looked cute. I didn't pay much attention to her face, but she looked cute. And as I passed her, I said to her, you look really cute. And she looked at me almost shocked, but I'm still doing my thing, trying to burn my little walkthrough and get my energy up. And I get to the corner and I turn the corner. This conversation just reminded me, I turned the corner and I took a few more steps and she was behind me and she put her arms around my, and I was like, I'm from the Bronx, honey. I was like, but I saw the arm. So I was like, and she was crying. And she was like, thank you for saying that. You made my whole day, which wasn't going very well. And I stopped, of course, and took out my headphones. And I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, you look so cute. And I'm like, just go feel as good as you look. And she just said, thank you. And she turned back around and went back around the corner and kept going in the way that she did. And again, someone I don't know, right? It's just, she did look cute. So I said something. And that's what you're saying, Nikki, like, let's support and say the things out loud along the way. And equally be okay with being present in our unfiltered versions of ourselves.
Unfiltered version. And by the way, you just gave I'm sorry, Shani, but I just highlight the fact of what you just said, Lachelle. Look how cute she looked to you. She looked great. And inside, she was fighting some sort of pain.
She felt some,
That's what I was just about to say. There's this whole campaign actually right now that these kids started. They're like college kids, and they literally, like, on Saturday mornings, because there's a lot of people outside walking, all that kind of stuff, they drive around their neighborhood and they just compliment people, and they record their reactions, and people are like floored, completely shocked, like, me? Like, what do you mean? And it really shifts their day. You know, some people are sitting there and they're kind of like whatever, and some people are just like, you know, have a pep in their step, and you know, they compliment any and everyone, whoever they can catch, and will engage basically.
I
And
love
so it's just this campaign, and you made me think about that, because it's just like how being, again, when you are doing things that are purpose filled, like as just a lay member, and like those kids don't know that they're probably saving people's lives,
Right.
literally, you know, by saying those words. Or, you know, when you get someone in your heart, deep in your heart, and you're like, you can't shake them, and they keep coming up, like, and you just send them a text, or you send them or you call them or whatever, like that can shift stuff that's happening in their lives. Because a lot of people, you know, society puts these new norms on everyone, right? We have these things that we are all trying to live up to, because that's what society says. And regardless if we say we don't, we looking at it, we checking for it at some point, right? But there are still people who are just like, if I just had that one person that just checked on me every now and again, you know, or just like you said, complimented me, or was kind to me in the store, you know, or on the phone, you know, you talking to bill collectors and all this kind of stuff. That kind of stuff, it builds up. And we don't know. Our title today is hiding in plain sight. And that hiding in plain sight can be from the smallest little thing that makes you tick to the largest thing, meaning, you know, having an argument at work with someone, and they just, you know, make you feel like, excuse my language, like shit, you know, and then that's what you carry for the rest of the day, and then you keep carrying it. Like, what my question to us is, how do we shift in times of like let's say you're having a great day, and then something happens that now shifts you to, now you're like, just, I'm having a bad day. And that is more prevalent than how you were feeling earlier in the day. How do you shift that? How do you get back to, you know, you're having pep in your step if you've been knocked off?
I think that's a great question. And we did mention, this did come up on Thursday. I think it's getting in a space of gratitude immediately. Right. And sometimes that's an easy thing to do, and sometimes it's not. But it could be as simple as something really crazy just happened to me. I just stood up, so my and nothing hurts. Okay, I'm grateful for that. Like something about gratitude. And then I remember my mom saying this all my life. Like, help somebody else, like in the moment, like she's like, because it shifts your energy away from yourself to someone else. And that help doesn't necessarily mean like going and buying them groceries. It might be just what you just said. Hey girl, was just thinking about, just saying good morning, or just thought about you, or just something really small. Because the hiding in plain sight, the part that makes it so scary, just to bring it to the top of the show, is that you don't know who's suffering. And nobody's saying anything, because the answer is like, hey girl, how you doing? Good, how you doing? That's it. Because I'm sure that most people didn't know about Chesley.
And also too, I think it's important that one thing you said, Crystal, you know, automatically being in a space of gratitude, or for me, it's being in that space of gratitude and all of a sudden think about what's going well today. Like what's going well today. I got in a little tiff with one of my favorite fencers this week, and but it was the best thing that happened because it brought communication to us. But at the moment, I was like this. I was like, this how moms feel, you know. I was like this, and all of a sudden I went, thank you, God, for this opportunity, for being able to train this Olympic. You know, I just went, thank you. And it brought my whole it brought everything down. And I started thinking about what was going right that day, because what I was getting upset about, after I started thinking about what was going right that day, really wasn't that deep. You know what I'm saying? It really went, once I started, at the moment it was like this, but it wasn't that. Once I started being grateful and thinking about what has gone amazing today. I had a great meeting with my girls Thursday morning. It was amazing. You know, I started thinking about all of that. It made that little thing, which was a big thing at the time, not be so astronomical that I felt like I had to, you
That
know?
perspective shift,
Yeah,
right?
perspective.
I have a question for Lachelle, just as a clinician. What do you think is going on with young people right now in this?
Girl, when I
Because
tell
you worked with a young population for a long
I
time
did,
too, right?
I just, you know, I'm part of me is at a loss, right? Because I also discovered that a young actor from The Walking Dead, which I never saw, he took his life like 3 days ago. But part of what I'm noticing, especially when I think about the young people that I do work with, um, this world, the way we live now, with this sense of like everything is immediate.
Yes.
Everything is immediate,
Yes.
right? Everything, every desire needs to happen right now. Everything has to look the best right now. I need to make $1 million right now. Everything is immediate. And what I'm realizing, that young people who grew up in our digital age, right? Because we have the benefit of, we're in the digital age too, right? Very much so. But we have the benefit of knowing life without it. And what I'm noticing is that young people don't know that they can, and I swear, don't kill me, Instagram, but it's the Instagram effect, where it's like the constant on it. They don't know that if something goes awry, you can put that down, right? So think about back when there was no social media, and think about, because this happened to me many times, and I know Flirty Murdy's watching, right? You out in them streets doing something you shouldn't be doing, and you call home from a payphone because you're supposed to check in, and you can hear on the phone,
A payphone.
on a payphone, honey, you can hear you already in trouble. And that anxious, oh God, right? The butterflies.
Because Sister Abbott done told, because she saw
Right,
you.
right. Somebody done called home before you got to call home. Hello. But you heading home, but you put the phone down. And there's all this time between the shock that, oh God, I think I'm in trouble, and you having to deal with the situation. There's no time. We don't make time anymore. We don't know that we can pause and breathe through it, just wait, or forget about it. It'll be there, right? It'll be there. Like, listen, how many people have won awards and not been at the award show to get it, right? So-and-so's not here, so I'm going to accept this on their behalf. We'll get it to them later. You can do that with everything in life. And our young people, they don't know that. They don't know. They think when it happens, they have to feel it, deal with it, and accept the consequences, or make a choice or decision. They don't take a beat. And I imagine that a lot of people, we talked about this Thursday, almost 60,000 people have taken their lives in this country since January 1st. And I imagine that a big part of that is they're not taking a beat, right? Movies build the beat in, but we have to build it in for ourselves. And I think that younger people don't actually have the practical experience of taking a beat, right? They're just very reactive, but that's what our digital world makes us, instantly reactive. And I think that's part of it. But on the grander screen, Crystal, I'm still at a loss, and I'm still trying to study it because it's perplexing me.
I love, though, like you said, taking a beat, but I love bringing everything back when you were talking about looking at our lives as a movie. I wonder if our young people could see that. maybe they're not hearing that. You know, they're so busy looking at everybody else's movie and everybody else's trailer. Maybe if someone said, what about your movie? What does your trailer look like? Maybe they'll be like, oh, I'm the star too. You remember that show, the Truman Story?
The Truman Show.
Truman Show, and how, you know, he didn't know he was in a show. But I just think about that. Maybe if that's somebody need to write a book about that. Maybe if someone says, yeah, what's your movie? Look at yourself. You're the star of the movie. Like Nikki says, you take the stage. You know, maybe if that's a message.
But you know, we would realize that more if we did more of what Nikki said earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Celebrate and support along the way.
Along the way.
People are watching.
We live in such a critical world. Mm-hmm. And you couple that with the immediacy of what you were just talking about, Lachelle, it's not a good combination.
No.
Right? We have such a lack of understanding for people who go left.
Yes.
Right? We already discount you and count you out, and we expect for you to have the strength to like muddle through it. And then even if you publicly apologize, right? If you have that stage, or even with your family or friends, it's often not enough. You got to crawl your way back in.
Mm-hmm.
We make it hard for people. Mm-hmm. Now, I personally don't, I don't suffer from depression, but I know people who do. Can you imagine when you're constantly fighting, your own thoughts, beliefs, and then you have a world like what we have to live in?
Right.
Right. So
or a world where you can't make mistakes anymore. It's like, I'm so glad that the internet didn't exist when I was 15 years old. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Like everything that you do is on social media. Every mistake you made, every
people want to put somebody down because of what they saw or heard.
And it's awful. I think it's really awful. And it has to be some kind of teachable.
Well, it starts with us.
We have to, because it's not healthy to feel like you won't ever make a mistake or you won't ever say something. Cancel culture, that's a different show, right? But it's like, okay, you can't misspeak because it's being recorded, and then somebody is going to tear you down for 2 weeks until they tear down the next person. You know what I mean? Like, it's a really difficult place, because then you just say, well, they're before the grace of God go any of us. Like it's there is no such thing as perfection. I remember a friend of mine was asking me about we were talking about our lives and our spouses and stuff like that, and she's like, well, you don't understand because your life is perfect. I was like, what?
Mm-hmm.
Like, playing a serious, nobody's life is perfect. What are you talking about?
Real quick.
And I was like, but I remember being like, real New York. I was like, what you talking about? Like, that doesn't exist for anybody. Like, so, but then the fact that somebody that loves me, who's really a good friend of mine, was like, well, you don't understand because your life is perfect. I was like,
but that's the problem with social media. That's the problem with any media. It doesn't have to be, our social platforms. That's just the problem with any media. Like, anytime you present to be good, that is the perception that is carried on. Like, you're always good. Every time I see you, you're good. You're pinned up. You got your hoops on. You got your medallion on. Like, you're good. Your husband is always clean cut with his hat. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all good, because that's what we see. Even if we see y'all down at the Piggly Wiggly scraping your last two together to get a meal. We don't know what's happening on the inside, but we see you guys there, making ends meet, making it work, looking like you guys are having a great time, but y'all are struggling. You know what I'm saying? Like, people don't understand. And it's so interesting, this dynamic, because I kid with my nephews all the time, because go with me. They don't know who Michael Jordan is. They think Michael Jordan is a shoe line. Okay. And so I'm like, callers say, what? That was the best. the world's greatest. What you mean? You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
that's how I feel about everything. Like we are so, because we take out teachable moments and don't take time, like Shelly says, to teach our children and to, you know, guide our youth and help them into, you know, adulthood, help raise them into adulthood. These kids are out here raising themselves, literally.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they don't know the tricks, and they don't know the things, the quality, that meat and potato stuff that helps you get through hard times.
Mm-hmm.
They all they know is whatever the phone is saying. You
Right.
know, well, let me ask Google, child. I don't know. Hold on. Google.
Right.
What do you do if
Right.
you're not feeling well? And then you, for real story, you do that stuff and chest leak pops up.
Right. Right.
Or whomever.
Right.
That's what people are seeing. This thing that we hold in our hand that is connected to us, that has been now created an extra limb, you know, on our bodies, has really crippled us as a nation, us as a society, us as a culture, because we take the teachable moments out of everything.
Yeah.
And we're relying on computers, relying on internet, relying on, you know, what's happening, what's the latest fad, what's the latest this, what's the latest that, to navigate our lives. And that is the issue.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all things that lack emotion, by the way.
No emotion in it.
No emotion in it. Yeah.
I have a suggestion.
I can see these kids. I'm sorry, I'm teaching this school right now, doing doing workshops. And these kids are just like emotionless.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like,
but there's so much emotion inside.
Like, how are you? But and what's trippy is, like, we're in a theater class where you should be given all types of emotion. But these kids are so emotionless. And then when I'm finding that they have their most emotion is when they're not working, but they're like taking a break and they're just like,
wow.
My thing is, so
things that don't speak back, by the way. Sorry.
Yeah, the things that don't think. But I think about when, like when Nikki was saying, we got to cheer each other along the way. I think it's also an opportunity for us to make sure we're asking each other, including the young people, how are you today? What's going on? We ask them questions. I think sometimes we get so. Let me tell you what's going on with me today. Well, let me tell you what this today. And if we just take a step back, how are you today? What's going on with you today? How is school going? Or what, instead of, asking the questions that you don't get the yes or the no from, and making them feel like you care. Letting them know you feel like you care. I think one of the
time you have to ask people questions without that they have to explain, or you can't just be like, how was your day? Good. No. Tell me about your day.
Tell me about your day. Like asking those questions. One of the things that I love about this show and love about us and our viewers, we ask each other, well, tell me, it's been many of times when I think we've all kind of had that funky face. And I know Lachelle and Chondra are right up on Crystal and saying, you look funny today. What's up?
Mm-hmm.
Nikki Kerner be like, what's going on? Lachelle be like, what's going on? Sean be like, sis, what's up?
But that's what I was going to say, Nick. We were talking about when people go left, right? And that's like when people, it's like you throw them away, right? You wash your hands of them. But honestly, from my perspective and the way I see things and what I do for a living, we are all tuned in for when people go left.
Wow.
The problem is, and this is my suggestion, right? I do this for a living. I make a living off of people going left. Nobody going right needs me, right? But all of us, every one of us, I don't care how old we are, when you see someone going left, that could be a simple little left. That could be a big whooping through a 4-lane intersection left. The next step for you, the not person going left, you looking, you watching, you can't turn away from a fire. people watch a fire all the time, is when you insert a question, right? What's going on? How are you feeling? What do you need? Like, we don't follow the watching the left with the action, a simple action, right? Let me go. Let me just, can I stay next to you while you go left? Right? You may not want to say anything.
Let me guide you.
let me guide you. And then there is because I say yes and right to what you just said. Then there is I didn't know this person was going left because I couldn't tell.
The hiding.
Right, that's the hiding. And it's so funny because our son is 15, and I asked him, because they are on social media, if he had heard about Chesley. And because he's a 15-year-old boy, he's like, no. But I said to him, I told him kind of what happened. And I said, well, how does, what are your feelings about that? Because I did want to hear what his thoughts were. And he said, like they always are, mommy. He's like, I feel badly for the person. And then I move on. And I was like, and I was trying to figure out like what that meant, right? But he took a beat, because I don't think he's just like, whatever. But he was like, and then he just, right? And I was like, I wonder, it's nothing about his answer or not, but I wonder, because we are such in a space where everything just
desensitized. We're desensitized.
And he's super like, intuitive and stuff like that. But his answer was so fascinating for me. And I wanted to add one thing, and please go with me on this. I took this workshop one time for work, and it was back in the 90s, and they were talking about how cell phones were impacting children, right? And because now kids are getting their phones younger and younger, right? And so what one of these studies was, alluding to, was that when we did not grow up with cell phones, right? So when you were 14 and you're 15 and you're running late, you had to get to a payphone, or you had to, if your mom sent you to the store with a note, you have to figure out what's on the note. If they don't have it, you're like, okay, what does she normally get? All of these things. Okay, if I come home with the wrong thing, now I'm gonna have to go back to the store. So let me make sure I got the right thing. All of these cognitive functions, right? And so what they were finding is that there's an absence of some of that because mommy is in your pocket. You don't have to figure anything out.
You just call her.
I just call her. So this study was saying there's an absence of part of the development that young people should have as independence, as when they start to get away from their parents, because there is no space to have to really figure things out. And I wonder now, if you're Chesley, you're 29, 30, you've always had a cell phone, right? And this is not blame, this is just observation and question, right? Like, what if you just don't know how to do that?
Correct. Because
your life,
correct,
didn't lend itself to that part fully developing.
Yes.
So anyway,
I want us to talk a little bit before we get to the end of our hour. Is what are our thoughts, or what is it we want to say to people who are listening and who will listen, that know they're hiding, right? You're hiding. You're trying to put your best foot forward and not let people know where your struggles are, right? What would be a word to the wise, a suggestion, a thing you've done, right? What would be some of that? Because we can do a lot once we know, right? And there's work to be done around having people take action instinctually to support their fellow person. But first, we have to show, right, our unfiltered self in the area that we're struggling in, or in the whole damn thing. We might be struggling all the way across the board. So what would you ladies say would be something you would share with yourself when you know you're hiding, or with others when you suspect that they're hiding?
Yikes. I say yikes because that's like a deep charge. But you know, I in my lifespan, I have not dealt with a lot of depression driven things. I've had low days, but I wouldn't call them like depression. However, I do feel that there's a continuous line through my life that was taught young about having like empathy for people, or compassion for people, that because my father's a psychiatrist, like, this is how you say this is your life, your profession, Shelly. That's been my whole life. I've been around people that have been dealing with issues my whole life because my dad's a pastor, my dad's a psychiatrist. Like, this is our life. However, the through line through it all has always been, it is a marathon, right? We're running a marathon. And in order for you to get to that finish line, you have to start. You have to and either walk, run, crawl.
Amen.
Get dragged, like, however it is that you get to that finish line, like, that is the ultimate goal. But it's that first step, finishing that, completing that. It's the brick story with Will Smith. Like, it's just that one thing at a time, and that continues to ground me, because we can get overwhelmed quickly with life and responsibilities, and adulting is hard. And adulting by yourself is hard. Adulting with a partner is even harder. Adulting in a social media age is even 3 strikes right there. And so it's just about, really, for me, and my advice to anybody would be to just take that first push to what it is, because it may not be a step for somebody. It may be
it might just be saying, I'm not so great, when someone says, how are you? Just that.
And being honest. We live in a fictitious time where people are okay with telling half the truth or not the truth at all. And so, transparency is communication, I say, is the key to life, period. But transparency is another facet. If you can honestly say, I woke up feeling like crap today and I don't understand it. Like, I've never felt this way. That helps, because then now you have somebody checking for you.
Yeah, exactly. You have someone checking for you. And sometimes we get guilty of not saying till it's like
all the way past.
All the way past. All the way. I can honestly say, when I called y'all to start this show, it's because I knew that I was coming to a place where I needed some amazing people around me to support. I was getting to a point that I wasn't practicing what I was preaching, and I needed to put myself first. And I know I can't do it by myself. I know some other people out there feeling the same way. Let me call on these wonderful ladies and talk about that, because I was literally coming to a point in my life where I couldn't act like I was on. Y'all know I was on the. And you got to get to a point where we say it before it gets there, and be comfortable with it. And again, what Nikki say, your friends and people that love you encouraging you along the way.
I just want to say, like, not everybody's strength is the same for themselves. They're just not. You know, the things that I've had to deal with in my life, other people may not have been able to deal with them the same. You know, I do believe that the beginning steps are being honest with your feelings with yourself and others. I do believe that being able to just honestly ask for help and share with other people, your family, your friends, like, you know, definitely you should do. But I do believe that you do have to have some tools for yourself because, I mean, I just read something this morning where someone was saying that they had shared how they felt, and because their friends and family didn't know how to respond, they basically ghosted them, right? You know, and sometimes it's too much weight for somebody to deal with. So because of all they going on in their life, it may not have anything to do with you. They just kind of end up putting up even maybe a wall that they don't even realize between you and them, because it's like, oh my God, it's too heavy. It's too much. I can't deal with you and with my crap. And honestly, the only tool, and I do think, you know, having somebody you can go talk to, investing in yourself, which is a strength in itself of a decision to make. If you can get that moment, maybe one thing I'd suggest is to remind yourself that this too will pass. And if you think about anything that has happened in your life, how long, you know, like right behind it came something else, and something else might have been, hopefully, was greater and better. But it passed in the sense that people stopped talking about it. And it passed, meaning some other opportunity came your way. And it passed because now you're focused on something different. So if you could just remind yourself, right, that this is just a moment in time. If you just remind yourself of that and remember the last time it happened, that something else came about, and whatever was happening and you felt like the world was ending, it didn't end. You're still here. That's what I'd ask you to do, because it's only a moment in time. But the tools start within us. And I know for some people it's a lot harder. So just wanted to put that out there.
I'm just gonna say this real quick because Auntie Bev put a comment in the but it what you just said, when people don't have the tools, Nikki, made me think of like examples. And this kind of, you know, goes to that. It's just like having examples in your parents and like people around you. That also is a part of like this age. A lot of people don't have strong examples that are doing the work per se. And so the real question is, how do we get to, how can you find that example or that push or that something when it's not in front of your face?
Yeah. I know. I know this sounds maybe crazy, but you have to be it for yourself. I mean, you have to. I know I always go back to this, but like nobody's going to be your biggest cheerleader, your best supporter, your anything other than you. We are not going to be able to guarantee anybody growing up in a perfect world, having perfect parents, having a perfect upbringing in terms of where you live, the school you go to, the children you become friends with, the people you work with, and the strength at some point when you feel like you all boxed in. If no one's telling you and somebody hears me, invest in yourself. You ain't got to tell nobody. Invest in yourself. Go talk to somebody to help you talk through so that you can build up your inner strength. Because it starts with you. It has to. We can't blame people. We can't. Yes, we can all be examples. I think the show is an example, right, of how we're trying to help people. My call to everybody is to be more sensitive. Be more sensitive for people showing their raw self, right? Give space for people to be imperfect. Right? Support them when you see them trying to do better. And I don't just mean a pat on the back. I mean, be involved. But the truth is, I don't care how many people are there for you. When you walk out that door, you are still sitting there by yourself. You can't have somebody in your ear all the time telling you I love you and you're great. You have to tell yourself. So whether it's affirmations, whether it's gratitude, whether I think it's all of it, actually, as I listen to us and I take away these things, we need to be doing all of that, but it has to start with us. And if you don't have the strength, the people around you, because they're not always guaranteed to be there, you're going to have to at some point hear me or repeat this message so other people can hear it. Invest in yourself. Because the strength has to come from within you. No one's going to help pull you up. As a matter of fact, as we just talked about, and people don't mean it to do it on purpose, but they're waiting, in some ways, maybe not actually watching and waiting, but they leave it up to you to figure it out.
Yeah.
I'll just simply say, but because I keep going to this topic, some people just don't know how. And I think when we talked about tools, when Nikki mentioned tools, I think that's what it is. I feel like there has to be a way to recognize, like, if it's like, I've been by myself a lot. I feel like I don't, like, something that makes you know, like, I need this. This equals this, right? So I think maybe and I'm certainly not qualified to communicate this, other than just like when I feel like I don't have anybody to talk to. Like when Nikki said, I got to the point where I felt like da-da-da-da, and then I started this show. What are those, what did you feel? Because that was a tipping point. I think we need to talk about something like that, even if it's one thing. If I feel like I have nobody, say, that little girl on TikTok, don't worry about a thing. Do I have a little song I could sing to myself? Do I have just something I could grab onto until morning? I think maybe it's just me. I think people don't know how to get to the point. I think some people know that I got to stand up for myself and I'm not taking this and I'm going to be all right. And some people don't know how to get from how they're feeling to I'm going to be okay. And I feel like it has to be some kind of recognition to help you get there. One little thing.
You're on something there, Crystal. Even if it's like a picture that you put, something goes wrong, maybe you look at it. Maybe you carry something with you, because that's what I'm saying. Like, the strength it has to come from within, but we don't all have the same strength. So what do we do to help ourselves, to remind ourselves that this too will pass?
And so wait, Nikki, I just got to say this because C. Renee just finished the part of the song that I didn't say. When it was a little boy, when he got to the part where he said, "'Cause every little thing is gonna be all right." I remember going like, I was crying, because for me, I saw that video when I needed to see it, right? And it was whatever it was for me, whatever it was. Because life does get hard, Nikki and Boss just, it gets really hard. And my mother told me that mess when I was little. She was like, she even said, let me make y'all laugh because we about to cry. And I know the show's about to be over. You know how you when you become a teenager and you start looking all curvy, whatever. And I used to get attention from men that were looking at me as a young girl, and I wasn't, whatever. My mother would be laughing. She said, you uncomfortable. She said, guess up. He don't mean it. They just saying, oh, you look pretty, or, just something. But I'm a little, like 13, 12, whatever. And she said, well, don't worry about it. It stops. And she wasn't lying. But my point is that, like, it is going to pass.
Everything, the good and the bad.
Wasn't that fun?
It was fun. When Crystal mentioned about having a song, and I love that. Don't worry about it. Think every little thing gonna be all right. I want to wrap up today on a moment to cry with a song that I heard last Wednesday when I was watching our sister. And I was already crying from the beginning, but when this song came on, this song always touches me. But this song really, I want to share this song with you guys. And I need
Lost. Well, creatively lost. And I needed to find
wait a minute. I gotta stop
freedom.
Because I need y'all to hear it. I need y'all to hear it. I need y'all to see it. I got a little caught up because I'm trying to fight these tears, but this just
can't see the controls.
Yeah, I couldn't see the controls. But this song came at a time where I was walking down the street and I was feeling a little funny because some things weren't quite, there were a lot of things that were panning out. There was this couple of things that weren't going like I wanted to that day. And I had a vent session about it. And then I watched this beautiful sister sing this song. And it's really about, our show is called Hiding in Plain Sight. And she says, you will be found.
I needed to be found.
I just need y'all to hear this.
Have you ever felt like there was no one there? Have you ever felt forgotten in the middle of nowhere? Have you ever felt like you could disappear? Like you could fall and no one would hear? Well, let that lonely feeling wash away. Maybe there's a reason for you to be okay. 'Cause when you don't feel strong enough to stand, you can reach out your hand. And oh, someone will come running, and I know they'll take you home. Even when the dark comes crashing through, when you need a friend to carry you, when you're broken on the ground, you will be found. So if the sun comes streaming in, you reach out and you rise again. So look up and look around, you will be found. 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 There's a place where we don't have to feel unknown. And every time you call out, you're a little less alone. If you only say the words from across the silence, your voice is heard. And oh, someone will come running. And reach up and you rise again. If you only look around, you will be found. You will be found. Out of the shadows, the morning is bright. dirt comes crashing through, when you need a friend to carry you, when you're broken on the ground, you will be found. Let the sun come streaming in, you'll reach up and you'll rise again. If you only look around, you will be found. You will be found. You will be found. You will be found. You will be found.
You okay, Nikki? You need some water.
I know. It's just something about those words and just,
You will be found.
our show today is about hiding in plain sight. And Chondra said, you just look around, and you will be found. Look around, ask for help, you will be found. Those times we got to get to a point where we're not waiting till the slip is down to the ankle. That's where we got to, always be like, my slip hanging. We got to get when it's just a little bit below the hem, my grandma used to be like, your slip hanging. We got to get to a point where, like Nikki said, we're encouraging each other along the way. I love, Shelly, when you had said, think about what your trailer will be. Crystal says, sometimes we don't know how to get out, just affirming ourselves. And like Chondra just ended, look around and you will be found, look around and you will be found. I know there's so much more we can say about this show. I definitely think it was needed. I definitely think it was needed. And I think the conversation gets to continue. The conversation gets to continue. And I say to all of us, like we said on Thursday, I want you guys to think about, what does your trailer look like? What get excited. And if you're having one of those days and you like, oh Lord, I don't know what the next scene gonna be. You never know. That next scene might be somebody done thrown down the rope and got you out the boat. Let's get excited about what the next scene is gonna be. Let's get excited. And then those people that are in the movie with you, let's encourage you along the way. Let's encourage ourselves and each other along the way. This has been a great show. Like always, you guys want to say anything before I go? It's the ladies.
I think we said a lot.
I think we said a lot today.
Just remember, it all starts with us too.
Yeah.
I mean, the little changes that we can make to help someone we don't even know, that we're blessing their day.
Yep.
All right, y'all. It's the Ladies First Chit-Chat Crew, where we are the voice of the everyday woman. Follow us on Instagram. Keep emailing us. I get your emails. I share them with the ladies. Keep emailing us, and we will see you next Saturday. I love y'all.
Who's first? Lady. Who's first? Lady. Who's first? Lady. What time is it? It's time for the ladies. It's the Ladies First Chit-Chat Crew. It's time for the ladies. It's the Ladies First Chit-Chat Crew. Ladies, and we're up first. Ladies. unboxed. Bonjour, unboxed. And we're up first. Yes, ladies. That's dope. Yes, ladies. That's dope. Yes, ladies. That's dope. And we're up first. It's time for the ladies. 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 It's the Ladies First Chit-Chat Crew. It's time for the ladies. 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 It's the Ladies First Chit-Chat Crew. One time for the ladies in the house. Two time make the people scream and shout. Lachelle, Chondra, Crystal with Nikki. On Boss, Ednay, and Nikki. L-A-D-I-E-S, I-E-S, L-A-D-I-E-S, and we're up first.